Hi, I'm Carla Payne.
And I'm Levine.
And we're here to go through the Age and Dementia Friendly at Work training as part of our Senior Information Networking group. And we're happy that you joined us. Let's get started. Having an age-friendly community helps everyone involved. It keeps the entire community active, connected, and healthy. And that's what we want for our community and beyond. Our aging population is increasing, very much so. Folks over 65 years of age will be the majority of our makeup of our population coming soon. And you know what they are also? They are consumers. So this is important as business owners and businesses within our community that we adapt to our customers. And as we have customers that are aging and caregivers that are caring for those aging loved ones, we need to meet their needs so that we can continue to help our businesses grow. So today, what Lisa and I are going to share are several learning outcomes that we want you to leave with. One of those is to discover ways to promote your business and make sure that it's age and dementia friendly. We also want to help you gain an understanding of what dementia is. You've probably heard that term quite a bit. We're going to really delve deep into what that means. And we're going to give you actual tips and creative ways to help make your business age and dementia friendly. Age friendly starts at home, right, Lisa?
It does.
It's the basic things of just literally where you are in your own home setting, how to make it an age-friendly environment. So here's just a couple of suggestions. Start with that single level design. So many of our homes are so many stories high.
And so many stairs.
It's wonderful at first, but then if there's a situation that happens, you might have an injury or you have arthritis, then it becomes a nightmare. So think ahead. Wheelchair accessible. Think about those doorways. You can go ahead now and start getting those doorways increased so that down the road, you don't have to do it. Take care of it now. And take a look at the shelving. There's so many creative ways to make the shelving easier to assess. With those lazy Susans.
That pull out.
Love them.
Mm-hmm.
Love them. And those are small fixes now that help you again and your loved one age in place. I love the remote control blinds.
Oh, aren't they
the best? They even have now that not only do they go up and down, but they can actually, the lever will move inside. It's perfect. And of course, slip resistant.
Yes.
I don't know about y'all, but I've walked on some hardwood floors.
Falls.
No falls. There's some hardwood floors that can be extra slick.
Slippery.
Not a good thing. And even some things such as twist-free faucets, where we can nowadays, after COVID, we don't want to turn handles, so we can just put our hands underneath. And that lovely open floor plan, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple things to think about. Also, within our environment, not just our home, but in our community, get involved, look around. What can make your community more age and dementia friendly? From transportation to parks to recreation. I'm very proud of Wake Forest and the community that I live in, that we really make this a priority. But I encourage you that wherever you live, that you get involved and be part of that voice to help your community be more age-friendly. The best employees ever.
Yes.
Our older population make up some of the best employees, volunteers, mentors that you could ever imagine. So think about that. Don't lose sight when you have opportunities to engage and broaden your diversity in your business with our older population. Dependable, timely, wisdom.
Usually it's because they want to be there.
Exactly.
That they're working.
Exactly.
Who doesn't want an employee that wants to be at work?
They're the best.
Mm-hmm.
They're the best. So again, connect with your local organizations, the chamber, the Renaissance Center, so many options to connect and to try to engage more of our older population in your work environment. Are you ready to talk a little bit about dementia?
Always.
Okay,
Always.
Lisa,
So
take it away.
important. Can you want to
Yes.
click for me?
I will click for you.
Great. So we hear the words dementia and Alzheimer's and cognitive impairment and all these terms, and what does it mean? It's so confusing. So dementia is basically a group of symptoms or a syndrome, if you will. It's an umbrella term that includes a lot of different diseases. Dementia is a description. It's not really a disease. So it interferes with day-to-day life. It usually includes memory impairment. That's what we think of most often, but not always. But it is 2 or more areas of functioning that have to do with our cognition. It might be word finding, It might be memory, it might be understanding language, but it's 2 or more areas of functioning that get in the way of day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so we hear Alzheimer's a lot. It's the most common cause of dementia. And so that's why a lot of times you'll hear people use those words interchangeably. If you have dementia, you might have Alzheimer's, but you might have another disease or a cause of that. And so we have some listed here. One predominantly is Lewy body dementia. Another is frontotemporal dementia, vascular dementia. Depending on who you talk to, there might be 70 different ones. But what we need to remember is there's always a cause for dementia. There's always a reason for that. Each of these diseases look a little bit different. Alzheimer's is what we're going to talk about today because it is the primary cause of dementia, but by no means is it the only cause.
One of the analogies I've heard you use is as an umbrella term. So dementia is like the umbrella, but all of those different spokes are the reasons and causes of what might be dementia.
Exactly.
So I love
and
that.
someone might have more than one.
That's right.
So it might be Alzheimer's disease and vascular
That's right.
disease at the same time.
It's very challenging.
Yeah.
So we're going to focus on Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm. So Alzheimer's is so prevalent, and as a country, we're aging. 65, people over 65, I think it's 10,000 people a day in our country are turning 65. And there's more people over the age of 65 right now than under the age of 18. So as a population, we're growing. 1 in 9 people over the age of 65 have Alzheimer's, 1/3 over the age of 85. The numbers are huge. The numbers are staggering. It's something we don't talk about often enough, but our population is growing, and with it, the number of people with Alzheimer's is growing.
And our population is aging longer. Like it used to be that our span of life might have been in the 70s or 80s, but we have folks that are living over 100 and then some. So
I heard the other day from AARP that the person that will live to be 130 years old has already been born.
is it you?
Might be. It might be.
So the projections are huge. By 2050, 13.8 million of our...
And we know in North Carolina, more counties have people over the age of 65 than under the age of 18, and that's growing and changing every day.
I did not know that.
As a state, we are aging, and so this is so necessary. So what's normal and what's not? So I don't know about you, but sometimes when I've had a really long day and I put my keys down on the counter, I think I put them where I always put them, but then the next morning I come in and they're not there, and I think, oh no, today's the day. Oh no.
For me, it's finding my glasses, and then I have them on my head,
On your
or sometimes
head.
2
Or
pair glasses.
have you ever looked for your phone and it's in your
in your hand? And I
Mhm.
think, this is it.
That's it.
I have it. Oh my
That's it.
gosh.
Oh no. And it's not.
It's normal.
That's not. That's so normal.
That's a busy brain.
So it is a busy brain. It's a tired brain. It's a stressed brain. Our brains were actually created to do one thing at a time. Our culture asks us to do what? 10, 20 things at a time? Yes. So what is normal and what is not? So normal is forgetting someone's name or an appointment, but remembering later.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yes. Not normal is forgetting those and not recalling that you're even supposed to know them.
Right.
When you go to the grocery store and you see someone and you know them, but you can't think of their name, and then in the middle of the night their name comes to you, that's normal. That's your brain going through all the files to get there, and it takes all day for it, thank goodness, on autopilot, but it happens. So not normal is, I don't remember meeting you, and maybe we just met last week, but I really can't recall it. That information is no longer stored in my brain. Other things are things like getting confused about the day of the week. We wake up, we don't know what day it is, but then we can figure it out. A lot of times people with dementia are confused with place or time. So if they're visiting you in your store, in the bank, they may not know what day it is. They may not realize what time it is.
And also, I've had some folks that I've worked with that have different forms of dementia, and specifically Alzheimer's, who want to go home. And home may be back to their childhood home. And so that would be a sign versus wanting to go to your home you currently live in. So
Exactly.
things.
Some of us tell stories to a lot of people, so we
Yes.
don't remember who we've told what.
Yes.
So we
Yes.
say, stop me if I told you this
Yes.
before. But people with dementia often repeat themselves over and over and don't realize that they've told you and don't even know that they should ask, have I told you this before? So if you find that people are giving you the same message over and over again, they're talking about the same general subjects all the time. They're not having more in-depth conversations with you. It's the pleasantries. Hi, how are you? How's your family? How's the weather? Those are very general topics that anybody can have that conversation about.
Yes.
And there's really no wrong answer to it. If you get into how is your job? Where are you working again?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you work with so-and-so. Those are pieces of information that don't stick into the brain of someone with short-term memory issues. And therefore, that's what we're looking for with Alzheimer's disease. Other things is we all have that moment where we can't find the right word.
Yes.
That tip of the tongue thing.
Normal.
But the word comes to us eventually. We can talk around it and then we can get there. People with dementia often have a hard time, and especially with Alzheimer's disease, it's simple words, usually nouns that we all know, and the word doesn't usually come, and we find that that happens more and more often as time goes on. So I like to think of these things as red flags. One problem, okay, maybe there's one red flag, maybe there's an issue, maybe there's not. 5 things going on, they're really getting in the way of my day-to-day functioning or your day-to-day functioning. I probably need to talk to somebody. The more red flags, the more of an issue.
Correct. So one thing to add to what Lisa's sharing is, again, this information is to help you as SING members, to help your businesses, but this knowledge will help you, your family, your friends, and people that you may know and come in contact with. So we definitely recommend that you get a baseline. There are different exams that can be done just to give you a baseline that can then be reassessed as years to come, as things happen. So just another thing that we want to be a resource for all of our SING members, that it's not just a piece of the puzzle, but we're here throughout the entire puzzle.
It's a journey.
It is a journey,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about some specific examples, and Lisa, I want you to add to this with me, is how to make your business dementia friendly. And with that, it's also age friendly, because we are all aging. All of us are going to have situations that happen in the future, every single one of us.
Yes.
So how can we think about that for our customers and our businesses? So we want to talk about effective ways to communicate, and I'd love for you, Lisa, to go over these with them, if you would.
Sure. So we want to speak clearly. We want to, and this is actually for anybody with any kind of different ability, not just dementia, not just aging, but especially helps. If someone is hard of hearing, it helps if we look directly at them so that they can see not only our lips when we're speaking, but our facial expressions too. We want to slow down. We're always in such a hurry, all of us, and we really need to take time with these folks. We want to listen to what they're saying and actually be present while they're speaking, not already thinking of the solution, but hearing what they're saying. We want to smile and be warm and make eye contact. I think being genuine is really what it's all about. For all of us, we really want that.
That's true.
Especially after COVID, we really want that contact with each other.
That's right.
And anyone with dementia or that's aging really needs that. Respond if you see someone that looks confused or distressed or lost. Respond to that. Don't ignore that. Go up and ask, can I help you with something?
Yes.
And even if they're a little hesitant, I'm here to help if you need me.
Yes.
And then watch for any signs of change. Offer help as those things. They may come in and they may be fine.
Right.
And then they may get disoriented over time as they're in the store. So things may change and they may not need your help at the start, but they may sometime during their visit. So just be very aware of that.
And to add to that, the SING organization created these cards, which we're going to have a picture of at the end of the presentation. And it says, "My friend has dementia. Patience, please. Speak clearly and slowly. Keep it simple. Thank you." And it has the SING information on the back for any businesses that are interested in getting more of these cards. This is something we encourage you to have available for your customers and give them extras so that when they go into a restaurant or a bank, that their caregiver can present this card so that the person knows and understands. It can make quite a difference. And these are free for our Sing members, so we want to make sure you have that. And again, this is for all of the region, but in Wake Forest, we also have the program with our Wake Forest Police Department that if someone is in distress, I forgot the name of it, we'll find that out and post that for you. But if you see someone who looks like they're lost or confused, we do have a program within Wake Forest Police Department to help any children or folks with disabilities or with dementia. So good to have.
That's wonderful.
And one of the things about distress, this is something I've learned over the years. Sometimes, what does distress look like? It's the furrowed brow. Mm-hmm. If you see this, something's going on. So that's something to be aware of. Mm-hmm. And this is an example, again, in a retail setting. You may have a customer who forgets to pay. Now, oftentimes you think that might be shoplifting, and you're like, wait a minute. It really, truly could be something related cognitively due to dementia, which we don't know what particular cause. So try to have that open mind that that could be a simple mistake that just needs to be addressed, and not to be a high energy aggressive, but versus, excuse me, I'm sorry, but I believe you forgot to pay. Let's come back in and go through that. Looking and finding items, you might have regular customers who come in and they know the store like the back of their hand. If they start looking confused, or they are asking you for things that you know that they should know where they are, that could be a sign. And again, by making all of our community aware, we can be more sensitive and supportive to that individual and their caregivers. So just to keep that in mind as you have folks coming into the store, that you are there not just for the customer, but for their family and caregivers. So look for those furrowed brows as well, that it might be we can offer some support.
And it makes me think of an example when we go to the grocery store. We go to the same grocery store every time. We know where everything is.
Yes.
And then the grocery store decides to move things around. And we're all disturbed by that to some degree. I can't find this. It used to be there. Now imagine that happens with someone who has cognitive impairment. Even if we haven't moved things, it can still feel that way to them. We maybe didn't move a thing, but in their mind, things got jumbled, and so they can't find it. If we really did move things, then it's going to be extra difficult for those people who are seniors or who have cognitive impairment. So we really do need to be sensitive to that distress.
Excellent. And that gives us a sense of empathy of what it might feel like, just a glimpse of it.
Yeah,
how we feel out of sync.
And they could feel that way every day.
All the time. Mm-hmm. So the environment, think about your office environment, your store environment. Here's just a couple of suggestions that we have that you can tangibly make a difference in your current business. Are your entrances clearly visible and understood as an entrance? Directional signage is clear. A lot of visual. You'll notice in the example we have visual examples of the reception, the bathroom, and the drinks. The visual stimulant is something that is sometimes easier than the words to process.
Yes, definitely.
High-powered lights. I love the setting that we're in at the Renaissance Center. It's bright, it's open, and the lights make all the difference. Have you been in a store where it's dim?
There's shadows.
And the shadows, exactly.
And the lighting can also create glare on the floor. Mm-hmm. And the glare on the floor to someone with visual changes might look like it's wet, and they might be afraid to go there. Mm-hmm. So they maybe don't walk down an aisle or in a certain area because they think they'll fall.
It's so true. It's really important the flooring is not too slippery or shiny. And as you were saying, sometimes designs or coloring or shadows not only could look like it's a wet spot, but even a hole. Mm-hmm. I had a client at one time years ago that wouldn't step where the carpet changed color because in their perception it was a hole.
Right. There's a lot of changes with perception of what things look like with age, but also with dementia. And there's also things like getting into an elevator. We know the bar that goes across the bottom of the elevator. A lot of times we'll see people with vision difficulties take a giant step over that entrance into the elevator. Mm-hmm. And some people may not want to go into that elevator on their own because they're, again, afraid they might slip or fall. So we really do need to be aware of those things in our environment.
And I think everything that we're sharing as we're going through this is because this is not them, this is us.
Yes.
This is affecting every one of us, and every person who's seeing this video, will either have already known someone who's going through this journey or will. What is it? Rosalind Carter said that, I can't remember the exact quote, but it's that there are only so many caregivers in the world, those who have been caregivers or will be caregivers.
Or are caregivers or need caregivers.
That's it. Something like that.
We're all caregivers and we all will need caregivers.
So I want you to really think about right now, what could you do right now to take back to your business and make it a more age and dementia friendly company? Think about that and then make it happen. And I challenge you to not only make it happen, but to then post it within our senior information networking group, so we know your ideas and we can share and we can lift up and promote your idea as well.
Another great idea is to look where everyone else is posting and to get ideas from what they've already done.
That's it.
And what's worked well for them. You know, as a community, we can learn from each other's successes and failures.
That's right.
But as we know, hey, this really worked well for us, and we can say, oh, I have that issue in my
That's right.
building business as well. Another great thing is to take that back to your team and have that discussion with your team. Have everybody be involved, because you never know the person that's stocking your shelves, who's there when these folks are looking for things, may notice things that you may not.
Exactly.
We're all a part of it.
Exactly. And with that, this particular video presentation can be shared. If you are a senior information networking group member, you are welcome to share this within the membership. And we're happy to come to your business. We can come to your business and do a training session, or we can have you come to our senior center. We're doing a quarterly in-person training as well. So there's so many options. We want you to be educated and make a difference in your community. So with that, I'll let Lisa share some of our additional resources.
So we have wonderful resources for you. The internet is a great thing a lot of times. We definitely encourage you to use the resources with Sing Wake Forest. I mean, that's really going to be your main go-to place, and so many people in this community are already involved in that, so talk to your neighbors. But there are some other online, where I work, Dementia Alliance of North Carolina. We have a lot of information for you. We have a lot of YouTube videos. We have you name it, it's there. ACT on Alzheimer's has a lot of dementia-friendly resources. So if you're looking for some more information or specific information for your industry on how to be dementia-friendly, you can go there and look for industry-specific information. Of course, the Alzheimer's Association, and they have, every year they put out a facts and figures of the year with, if you like numbers and statistics at all, this is the place for you. But it also gives you a description of who is your typical caregiver. We know that Alzheimer's affects women more than men, and there's a lot of information in there about cultural diversity and how that affects Alzheimer's disease. And then, of course, the 10 signs of Alzheimer's disease. We talked about those warning flags, those red flags. Those are on the Alzheimer's website. They're on Dementia North Carolina's website. There's a lot of places of information. And if you're ever looking for more information to do training on these specific dementia-related things, please call the folks at Sing, and they can do that for you, or they will get you in touch with Dementia Alliance, and we will too.
And all of this is free.
Yes,
it's all free. Yeah. So once you're a member of Sing, you join as a member. There is a fee, but that helps pay for the training and other programs that we're developing within Sing. But we want to give you as much free information and resources, so it's a win-win for everyone. So with that, Lisa and I want to thank you so much for being part of this video training session and to make that commitment a reality of making your business an age and dementia friendly company. So
thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a great day.